All right, Mike Cernovich hosting. I'm here riding shotgun. Nightly news, of course, has been suspended for the next few months as we launch the morning show with David Knight, Real News, the afternoon program that comes on in 27 minutes, the War Room with Owen Schroyer and others. But soon we're going to bring nightly news back as well and more broadcast. We're expanding here in InfoWars. But appreciate Jim in Washington saying he's a former CIA case officer, getting into the background of what's happening in this country. You got cut off from the break. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. And again, this is talking about what happened over in London today and here in the United States. So when these two FBI agents were putting on their counterterrorist training, they focused on events overseas, radical Islamic attacks, you name it, the Red Brigades in Italy and all of that. But they didn't mention anything in the United States. They didn't go over any attacks in the U.S. So I raised my hand and said, well, you know, the United States has been very fortunate that we haven't been hit yet by the radical Islamic terrorist. Why is that? Why haven't they hit us yet? Now, that's the summer of 1981. The agents responded, to conduct a terrorist attack, you have to do detailed surveillance, you have to take photographs, you have to have your ingress planned, your egress, you have to know police patrols, and there's so few Middle Eastern people and people from North Africa living in the United States that if two guys were to case out the Empire State Building to try to attack it, in their words, to blow it up, they'd stand out like a sore thumb, and private citizens would notify the police. The New York PD would see them. There's no way they could pull off the attack.
But the larger Muslim population, once it hits 5–10%, is a cover for it.
Exactly. It's just like Mao said in his little red book when they were fighting the Japanese, the communist Chinese terrorists fighting the Japanese. A terrorist, or a freedom fighter as he called him, must be like a fish that swims with the millions of fishes, meaning the civilians. You blend in. So now that we have all of the Muslims living here, and I'm saying every Muslim is a terrorist, certainly they're not, but if you see them walking down the street in San Francisco, Seattle, wherever, you know, and with our PC culture, if you think they're doing something improper, if you think they're planning some type of a criminal act, you're going to think, wow, if I report this, am I going to get in trouble for being an Islamophobe?
Just like we saw in San Bernardino's. There's the question for you and then Mike Cernovich. As the attacks become daily, what is the left planning? What are the social engineers planning? Because people aren't going to put up with this. What do you think, Jim? Are people going to put up with this?
I don't think that the people are going to put up with this. In fact, my concern is that people are going to be so fed up when it comes down to their fearing for their safety. You know, I hope it doesn't come to this where, you know, numbers of people take matters in their own hands, but I do hope they use the ballot box and they vote out the rhinos right now that are doing nothing. They're impeding Mr. Trump. They vote out the Democrats. They vote in people that, you know, will try to protect us, to get rid of this PC culture, to have, you know, reasonable, firm restrictions on foreigners coming into the U.S. And I'm not anti-foreigner. My wife is from Japan. She has a green
but you can't
card.
have folks from failed states. Jim, great points. Mike Cernovich, take over. Thank you for hosting the fourth hour. Great to be here with you. Give us your take on that and all the other big no's you've got. I'll be watching. Thank you.
Yeah, the big issue is that the new trend is for immigrants to want to remake America in the image of a failed nation state and a failed nation state. And we can't do that. That's why we have to focus more on rebuilding these other countries. And a great point that isn't brought up often enough, I read this, I can't take credit for it, but somebody goes, why doesn't Mexico want the Dreamers back, right? And why do the Dreamers not want to go back to Mexico? And if Mexico is so great, why do Dreamers say make America Mexico again? The logic just doesn't really add up, and that's the problem, and that is why I've always said that people like me, I used to be very pro-open borders, but I found out that the left now tells people who come over to America, oh, they hate you in America. They want to oppress you. They want to discriminate against you. They want to murder you in the streets. The left tells immigrants this, and then they go, if you try to suggest that people assimilate, then you are actually homogeny. It's called destroying cultures and eliminating cultures. So that's the real problem that we're having with immigration. And that's why I don't see a fix.
That's right. The globalists have broken the social contract of the melting pot, calling it homogeneity instead of people working together in real diversity. You don't get rid of your culture. It mixes with something else that becomes cohesive and works. Instead, the globalists are using it to sabotage.
Right. And they're turning that's why they support open borders. They're turning people against each other with identity politics. They'll say, come over from Mexico. Oh, now that you're here, did you know all the people here hate Mexicans and they want to hurt you and they want to destroy you? And the cops are going to kill you and murder you and hunt you down and shoot you. And then a lot of people, unfortunately, still believe the fake news media. Then they become afraid, and then they become distrustful, and then we have more and more and more distrust.
And they become controlled by the political parasites.
Yeah, that's why every globalist in Europe, too, I mean, look what they're doing to the UK. Globalists, why don't they say, here's what you would say if you had compassion like you have and I have. You would say, you know what we need to do? We need to actually help build up these Muslim nations. And they will go, you can't do that. That's colonialism. If you go over there and
but if you built them up, we'd be trying to get in there, not vice versa. It's not that we're against them. It's that they're failed, horrible demon countries of hellholes and cutting women's genitals off, and your daughters can't drive. And I got 3 daughters, man. I'm fundamentally pissed off about this.
Well, and that's exactly the whole point. That's why they go, well, you can't go over there and build them up. We need to import them here so that you guys all fight amongst each other while we rape and loot and rob the country. And how many Democrats now have been caught recently in pedophile stuff now? You don't hear the media talk about Pizzagate much anymore. They thought they were going to shut that down by claiming it was something that it's not. I never talked about the pizza parlor. I always talked about pedophiles in high office. And now suddenly, oh, look, pedophiles are going away again. The media's gotten awfully quiet. They used to always go, oh, Mike Cernovich, conspiracy theorist, Pizzagate guy. And then after all these Democrats...
You know, it's funny you say that. They used to have articles every day saying me and Pizzagate and you too. They don't do it now because so many mayors and other people have gotten busted. They didn't work.
Exactly. So now they're like, oh, crap, if we bring this up again, then people are going to pay attention to the headlines about the Seattle mayor, the senator on trial, the media. Nobody even knows. A senator is on trial, Menendez, in Florida, and he gave visas to sex slaves. He would sexually enslave women, some of whom are alleged to have been underage, in order to give them visas. Where are the feminists on that? Where's the media? They're hiding. So they dropped that whole, oh, Mike Cernovich, Pizzagate thing, because they know that when I said Pizzagate, I was never talking about some dumb pizza parlor. I was always talking about these high-level Democrats.
Pizzagate was the FBI manual on them using pizza Italian food codes, which is in the child porn is cheese pizza. Exactly. They didn't know what to do, so they made it about the pizza place.
Right. And then they would try to tarnish us with it. But now that all these high-level Democrats are going away for pedophilia, they're like, oh, crap, we better quit bringing that up. Because they know that we know how to flip it. We're not like, oh, that wasn't us. Instead, when they go, because I had somebody from HBO come into my house and go, you said Pizzagate was real. And I said pedophiles are real. And then I just rattled off Anthony Weiner, Jacob Schwartz, this Melendez guy, the Senator Melendez, the Seattle mayor. And they were like, oh, well, but and they freaked out. They
Jerry Epstein.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, the Lolita Express, Bill Clinton ditching his secret security. Yeah, at least 11 mayors.
The Clintons' top, it's now 16 mayors. The Clintons' top people caught smuggling kids in, changing their names. I mean, it's just like you can't swing a stick in the dark and not hit a big fat child trafficker. Not just a pedo or some guy looking at child porn. We're talking folks with kids in cages.
Yeah, Laura Silsby in Haiti, caught trying to leave the country with something like 33. You can't make the headlines are so weird that you don't believe it. You're like, this can't possibly be true. And now she works at the Amber Alerts people. She was caught with 33 children trying to flee Haiti.
And then she runs the Amber Alert to reportedly make sure key people don't get through.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, this is the world that we live in where somebody literally on trial for human trafficking is freed because of Hillary Clinton intervenes on her behalf. I wonder why Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, was trying to intervene on her behalf when all that money that Bill Clinton was laundering through Haiti for the Saudis, as a lot of people know, the Saudis actually use Haitians as slaves. And
well, let me ask you this. I can't help it. Why won't Hillary give up? Did she not know what a joke she is? And now all these Democrats admit they're involved in voodoo and Satanism. It's mainstream news. Why are they in like memoirs going, we kill people in black magic rituals, top Democrats? Why are they doing that?
Yeah, spirit cooking. Remember that? They never talk about spirit cooking because, of course, we proved that was true. So it's amazing that we talked about spirit cooking, which is true. As weird as it is, we can show you the emails where they talk about the recipes of putting blood and semen and bodily fluids and cut your hands and, you know, watch your hand bleed and put blood on the walls and everything. We can show you videos on YouTube of them doing it. And then Clinton says in her book what happened, that she's a spirit cooker. She goes, oh, yeah, I wanted to do voodoo and do voodoo dolls and stuff like that. So they've all admitted that everything we said was true. And as to why, they live in a bubble and they live around other people who are spirit cooking. They don't think it's weird. They don't think human trafficking is weird. That's just what happens. It is a normal thing. But who, I mean, could you imagine who would say I wanted to make voodoo dolls and put pins in people? Spirit cooker. And also, too, maybe she was forced to by her kind of satanic handlers. Maybe she was forced to put that stuff in there hoping that other people will do it.
Well, I was about to say, they have to come out in the open because as it comes out, they want to make it a joke. That's why the Washington Post is like, yeah, they went to a voodoo ritual, her and Bill, and yeah, and her best friend says she killed people with hexes. They're just trying to hide it in plain view, Mike. I mean, see that headline of the Washington Post?
Yeah, at the time, Bill and Hillary went to a voodoo ceremony in Haiti while Laura Silsby was trafficking children out of Haiti, and Hillary Clinton is intervening on her behalf. And yeah, there are a lot of weird things. But again, the big picture that I've heard from the highest level people in the intelligence community is that the Clintons were selling Haitian children to the Saudis into slavery, and that is why Hillary Clinton freaked out over any kind of human trafficking stuff.
And by the way, what do the Saudis do? Because they're famous for child kidnapping and harems. What are they doing to the kids? Because they never get seen again.
Yeah, exactly. They use the boys as household slaves when they're younger, and then they begin grooming them for their very, very sick stuff. A lot of people have found out that the Saudis pay a lot of money to these celebrities, A-list actors. These women fly out there, and they do all kinds of things that I won't even talk about on your show, but people can look it up. It's all been proven what they're into. They put fishes into people's stuff. Again, it's so bizarre, but you can all verify it.
Yeah, so I was about to say, it's not just the Rolling Stones or the folks joking around about albums from some of the other big rock bands that are involved in that. It's just insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking a run-of-the-mill sort of menage a trois or something. We're talking about the kind of things that you couldn't even think of in your own head, because it's so depraved and debased. You wouldn't even be like, oh, my fantasy is I'm going to take a fish and, run the fish through a sewage system and then, insert it. That you would never even think of that. That's how a lot of that's true, is the things that you're reading by people that it happened to. You're going, who could even dream up this? Well, if you're so debased that you'll buy children from Haiti and enslave them, and they disappear in these royal palaces and nobody ever sees from them or hears from them again, then that's what you got to do, because once you can no longer have just a good, normal, regular, healthy life, sex life, then they become more deviant.
How does anybody ever get sick of like enchiladas and a beer and a sunset and a happy day and kids playing in the pool? I mean, how could it get any better? I'm so fulfilled. Like, why would you want to, have, women in a satanic ritual shove gooey ducks up your rear end? I mean, what is the point of all this?
Well, because ultimately it is a dark energy force, a dark mass force, just like a black hole caves into itself and takes away the light. That's a metaphor for the Saudis and these other people, where when they see a happy child, what they want to do is they want to take a cane and smash the child's skull in and watch the child bleed, and then do that in front of the parents, because they are death worshipers, and this is their religion.
And if they can crush something that everybody else loves and knows is good, that gives them power. They're miserable souls.
Yeah, exactly right. And the more depraved and the more debased and the more demonic they can get, the better. And that's how they dream up all these weird ritualistic tortures and fantasies. I mean, read about Uday Hussein, Saddam Hussein's son, the kind of things he would do to Olympic athletes who didn't perform, the way he would torture people. This is Saudi Arabian culture. They beheaded more people every year in Saudi Arabia than ISIS beheads.
Sure, it's all about an exercise of raw power.
Yeah, they go into, and people can Google this and find this out for themselves. Saudi Arabia beheads more people than ISIS. Google that and you'll find it. So they have a public square, and they chop a person's head off in front of everybody. Blood flows everywhere throughout the streets, and they worship the blood, and they celebrate the blood, and they bow down to the blood, and they kneel to the blood. Everybody can watch it while heads roll around. This is entertainment, right? This is sport.
Well, it's like in Afghanistan, polo came from people using the polo clubs with heads.
Yeah, and they have the Dancing Boys of Afghanistan. So what they do is...
And that's the thing about Islam, and I'm not against gay people and consenting adults. I'm a Christian, I'm a libertarian. I'm not judging you, I'm not perfect. But under Islam, they don't call it gay. If you're an adult and do it, they kill you. But if you're raping a kid, it's okay in Islam. I mean, that's what's crazy. Like Muhammad had a 9-year-old wife. I mean, I've talked to troops. They say, listen, you go in these villages of Al-Qaeda and ISIS, it's like sex slavery of little kids. The religion of ISIS and Al-Qaeda is homosexual pedophilia.
Yeah, they say women are for children, boys are for fun. That's actually, you can talk to anybody who's actually deployed over there. They will tell you that when they kick into a door.
That's exactly, I've had family that's been there telling me it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's like little kids dressed up like girls. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, and then it was even covered, the Dancing Boys of Afghanistan, the Bachi boys. They dress up underage boys and they put rouge on their faces. They put on lipstick. They make them dance and perform for all these holy men. This is all verifiable kind of stuff. Yeah, and the mainstream media doesn't even want to talk about it. There's like an article from 2010, one time in the BBC, or maybe NPR write about it like one time. But anytime you're on college and you drink a beer and have a frat party, they're going to say, oh, my God, there's rape all over in college. But meanwhile, every day, boys are being raped in Afghanistan. Every day, children from Haiti.
Exactly. It's not that I defend whoever sent out the porn on Ted Cruz, but it's like full-grown women and a man. And then everybody gets so upset. Meanwhile, all this real stuff's going on and nobody cares. Yeah,
I mean, one of Ted Porn's staffers accidentally liked a porn tweet, which, as anybody who's on Twitter knows, people will spam you. They'll spam your notifications as you're scrolling, and sometimes you accidentally hit like, or you hit retweet, or you accidentally follow
But
people.
even if he did send it, it's nothing compared to raping children is my point.
Oh, it's not. That was my point, too. Chris Cuomo had said, or no, Chris Cleese of CNN, you can't even keep track with all these people who are also deviant. He goes, oh, bad day for politicians. A Seattle mayor resigned and Ted Cruz likes porn.
He equated the two together.
Yeah. As if raping underage people is the same as watching pornography. I don't think people should watch pornography, not because it is necessarily a sin, although many people believe it, but because it eliminates the pleasure of actual intercourse.
It's been proven it absolutely lowers the enjoyment.
Yeah. So to me, I just tell people that you're missing out on a very good.
Why do you simulate flying a plane versus really doing it?
Right. So it rewires your brain in a bad way. But it's all adults. But whatever. It's the same thing as if
Yeah, exactly. We're not saying you shouldn't do it. They call it censorship when we say we don't agree with it. You should watch out. No. You want to smoke your marijuana till your brain damage? Do it. You want to watch porn all day till you never get a girlfriend? That's your issue. We're just saying statistically, it's not good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I, eat chocolate. I shouldn't eat chocolate, as much as I eat, But if somebody wants to be 20 pounds overweight, then fine. That's your life. So yeah, but the point is that if you want to eat Doritos or watch pornography, hey, it's your life. But don't say that eating Doritos or eating chocolate or eating ice cream at night or drinking a few beers or watching porn is even in the same ballpark as raping children.
Yeah, no. It's not the mayor with the 5th person when they were 5 years old saying that he raped them. Raping a little kid is not the same as eating Doritos.
Right. We live in such a morally stunted, debased media environment.
Well, that's a good point, though, how they equated tweeting some porn of consenting adults by accident or whatever is the same as the mayor being a reported pedophile. No, it's not the same thing.
Yeah. Right. Because to them, it is the same. To them, to the media, sex with children is no different than sex with an adult, because to them, they don't view destroying the innocence. They don't think through the implications of stealing innocence. So this Chris Kalizia guy, he's like, oh, I mean, some people rape kids. Some people watch porns. Hey, man, sometimes you get caught doing it. You know, what are you going to do? It should, when you really think through the
exactly, even though we think porn can be destructive, because it's a fact. Might have been into it when I was 16, not now. Liking porn or seeing porn is not raping children. Two different things.
Right, and this tells you how debased the media is. That 20 years ago, if you had said that, people would go, and we've had this conversation before.
People would have seen through him, but now they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we call this stuff out, 20 years ago, people would have said, duh, who are these people saying that raping children is worse than, you know, watching pornography involving adults? Like, what is this? But the media environment we're in is, to CNN, they're the same. So what we're doing is actually subversive, because we're calling out the pedophile message coming from
What you
CNN.
just said is key. They hate Drudge, and they hate all of us, because we'll show what they said a year ago versus now, or 5 years ago versus now, or what they said 12 years ago, 6 years ago, 2 years ago, a month ago, and now. It's that memory bubble they don't like. It's the fact that we're not a memory hole. We connect things, and that's why they want to shut down the free and open internet, is because we'll point out Obama said Obamacare was going to be free, or then was going to be the cost of a cable bill, or you could keep your doctor. Or like Gruber said, thank God you're so dumb and have no memory. Well, the internet can become a memory, even if people don't have one because of the programming. It can become a memory in real time. Oh, you don't have a memory now, but look, they said this 2 years ago and this today. So that's what they hate about it. How are they going to strike against that?
Right. Well, look at the Susan Rice thing, for example. The media is going, well, Susan Rice unmasked a meeting about the United Arab Emirates that they had at Trump Hotel or whatever. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. I remember when Susan Rice went on Charlie Rose and said that she never unmasked anybody. And the media goes, Susan Rice never unmasked anybody. How dare you, conspiracy theorists? By the way, you broke that story. I broke the story, the Susan Rice unmasking thing. So first they go, well, you know, she never did it. And then now they want to pretend like she never said that. And they're going, oh, yeah, she unmasked some people, but that's just because she's a hero.
It's just like they said on September, you know, right through and back to January, oh, we have spying on Trump. We know he did this. Trump goes, it's illegal. He goes, oh, we never spied on you. And then they act like we don't remember when they admitted it. Then later they bring it back this month and say we were spying on Trump. So there's just they're counting on people not being focused.
Yeah, because, well, it is human manipulation, actually. That's why I always recommend people, you know, other than my books, Persuasion is a good book, because they talk about focus is attention. And there's also a great book called The Guide to Watching TV News. I forget the exact title, but it's another book. The media knows that whatever you focus on for that moment anyway can become your reality. So they're constantly trying to reprogram us with fabrications. And then when people like us go, well, wait a minute, we know your tricks. We work in the media. We're going to go back and remind people that Susan Rice claimed on TV that she never unmasked anybody. They're going to claim that she never unmasked
So real
anybody.
Freedom and real personal power is being able to move back and forth on the timeline like it's a video editing system, back and forth on the timeline to look at what really happened in the future and the past and the present versus what they're saying.
Oh, yeah, exactly. How to Watch TV News is such a powerful book because it was published in like 1991. If you go on the Amazon page, you can buy like an audio cassette, right? Books on audio for your Walkman. Like, that's how old the book is. And when you read it, you see that nothing's changed. They even said, one reporter goes, if I want to create a crime wave, all we have to do is for 5 days in a row report on crimes that had already been happening every day anyway, because then people go, oh, wow, there's this crime. I never heard about that. And then people think there's a crime wave. And then if they want to end a crime wave, they fail to report on it. So that is why the media understands that whatever they're talking about in the moment, they can be honest or dishonest. So what they're going to tell people now is, well, let's just say that Susan Rice is an American hero who unmasked Trump, even though we called Trump a liar for saying he had been spied on, and even though Susan Rice lied to us and never said that we were.
All we remember is that she's beautiful and brave and amazing for spying on Trump.
Exactly. That's what they're doing in creating the narrative.
And we never remember that he said Antifa's bad, so are white supremacists. When the Pelosi says, yeah, they're bad, he's not right. No, he's wrong, because no one remembers.
Exactly. That's the game. It's a fight for your attention.
So a memory is almost like consciousness.
Oh, it is consciousness. If you didn't have memories, you wouldn't have a consciousness because you wouldn't have.
I agree. At Cernovich, folks, follow him there. Amazing guy. All right, coming up is the War Room. Hopefully Cernovich can pop in. I know I will be. God bless you all. We love you. Great job, crew. Powerful 4 hours. Wow, get the videos out.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.